Login accepted.
All right, so today we're gonna. Oh, so before we start, there's some RVB announcements. Make sure you guys sign up for RVB. Dude, there's a mosquito. Yeah, sign up for RVB. RVB is next Saturday from 11 to 5. You could do it in person or remote. And then signups end on Tuesday, so the 12th. You can have a team of 4 or a team up to 4, or you can also sign up by yourself, or you could sign up by yourself and play by yourself, or you could sign up by yourself and have a random team or be signed up to a random team, and we'll help you get signed up with that. So there's the QR code and then the short link for the form. And yeah, so let's get started on the workshop. So if you didn't go to Tuesday's meeting, I do have the slides up here. You can review all the commands, all the concepts um, that you have, or any questions you have about it. But if you're not understanding anything, you could message me on Discord or message me on Zoom. But if you're in person, you can flag me down and I'll try to explain everything. And these slides are also on Linktree. They're under Docker review, I think. Let me double check. Yeah, Docker review slides. So as for the actual lab or workshop, make sure you deploy the Docker workshop template on Camino. Like I said again, if you need VPN access, message me or fill out the RSVP form, and then we'll get you set up with that. But yeah, so all the information about the lab is on that QR code or on that URL. You're gonna be doing 4 tasks that involve Docker, and yeah, so make sure you document some of your steps. That's how I can help you and make sure you're doing the right things. But yeah, I give everyone some time to get set up with that and deploy those templates. All right, so those machines that I deployed or that you deployed, they already have Docker installed, so you don't have to install anything. So you just, yeah, start. I can show you guys task 1 so far. Pretty simple, just downloading stuff. I'll go over that in a few minutes. Let me go over the first one. Mhm. So password is Jones. Oh. All right, so you don't have to do anything to install. Everything's installed for you. Um, everything's through the terminal. So we go to the document. So if you notice right here, running Docker commands require admin privileges. So you have to be in root or use sudo. And then first task says to download the Ubuntu image from AWS. Make sure you do that, or else or else there's some other stuff that happens and the workshop might not work. But yeah, let me visit that real quick. I'm dead. All right, so like I said earlier, you have to go through Ubuntu and then the latest version of Ubuntu. So then you look for it. Huh? What do you mean? Oh, I just didn't want to type everything out. So let me look for latest. Then that copies the URL right there. And then all I have to do is Docker pull, which is download, and then paste it, enter. Uh, Okay, so it looks like it downloaded. So Docker images will list all the images that I downloaded. Images are the like templates of for Docker containers. So then on the first task, it also says to remove those extra images that are not Ubuntu. So I'll just run Docker image rm. So it's just image remove, and then I could either put the name. So for Rocky, it'll be Rocky Linux, then the semicolon and the nine, and that should remove it. Or I could also use the image ID. So let's get rid of BusyBox. I could just put the first three numbers of the image, and then it will delete that. And then finally, I could just type the whole thing if I really wanted to. So then if I do Docker images again, you only have that one so far. Pretty simple, just downloading stuff, removing it. Next one is a little bit more involved. You'll be using the Ubuntu image, and then you're going to be creating a container that runs on a network that you also create. So Yeah, I'll just give you, I want to say 20 minutes, 15 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes. It's just a few commands, you know. You want to see a few? I'll show you a few. All right, so yeah, I'll just let you guys work on the second task. I'm gonna go over the second task. Uh-oh, bruh. If you're struggling, just stick with me, okay? Just stick with me. Honestly, when I first learned this, it was pretty hard, but just stick with me. All right, so second task. Um, First you have to create a network, a custom network. So if I list the current networks right now, so Docker and then network, because it's a network, then ls. You see right here has the default networks that come with Docker. So if you remember the different bridges or different drivers, but you don't have to worry about that right now. Um, but yeah, so it comes with these custom one or these default ones. What we want to do right now is to create a custom one with with the driver of a bridge. So the driver network driver type is a bridge, and then the name is a Punder's outpost. So let's do that first. So it'll be Docker network, and then it will be create because we're creating a network. But this thing is annoying. So then, you guys see that? Is it, are you able to see that? Is it too far? It's blocking the thing now. Hmm, is that better? Okay. So just Docker network create and then the name. It says right here use the default, or earlier it says use the subnet created for you. So if you don't specify anything, you just specify the name, it'll create like all the IPs involved with the network. So if I enter this right now, and then if I do a Docker network, so we're talking about networks here. So then inspect, and what that does is, oh, and then you have to specify which network you want to talk about. So you see all this jumble here, but if we read some of this, so we see the name of it, the name of the network, and then the ID, driver, all that stuff. And then if you notice here is they already created a subnet for us. So I'm not gonna go too much about subnetting because that's like a whole nother networking topic. But just know that everything's taken care for you. So then Docker, no, if I do Docker network ls again, we see that it's already created for you, or we created it. And the next one is to make make a container and have it attached to that network we created. So you might be a little confused of like what to run. So I'll just try to break it down for you. So Docker run, what that does is turns those images that we downloaded into a actual like unit we can use, or a container that we can use. So if I do IT, so what that means is just you're able to like send commands to it if you decide to, but let me just try this first. So tech IT, and then let me go, we want to specify which network to use. So I just put in the network that I just created, and then I put the name, which says right here is, wait, where is it? Oh, right here. So Davy. Then after that, you just have to specify which image to turn into a actual container. So if I go back here, you see it's the public Ubuntu latest one. So let me just copy that, paste it here. Then if I run that, if you notice right here, notice how this portion of my command line changes. So right here is the Debian 12. That's like the actual VM. But if you ever notice, like it changes here, that means you're in the container. That only happens because I put in the tech IT, which means you can interact with the container and send commands to it. So if I do ls, and if I do home, ls, there's different users compared to what you have in the virtual machine. The virtual machine you only have Jones, but in this one you only have Ubuntu. So yeah, so the final task is just to make a directory. So I just do a make dir, and then I think it's like my locker or something, right? So I was too lazy to type the last two letters, but yeah, you get the point. So yeah, that's how you attach a container to a network. And Okay, so let me do Docker PS tac A. It will show all the containers. So if I did Docker PS, it only shows the ones that are running. But if you notice when I did Docker PS tac A, also showed the ones that exit or aren't running anymore. So now I just do Docker RM and then you could do a tac F, which basically like forces it delete itself, to delete itself. And then I just put either the container name or the container ID. Um, I'm gonna do the container ID right here. So 50F, that's the beginning three, and then remove. And then if I do a Docker PS tac A again, it's not there anymore. Yeah, so that's how you turn an image into a container. And then there's the lat or this one right here. How much time we have left? I'll give you like 20 minutes to try this. But yeah, this one right here is it might be challenging. We're going back to the Docker file. So that's how you create your own custom images. If you go to, if you list the directories in the in the Jones home file or home directory, you notice there's the task 3 and task 4 directories. So right now we're going to do the task 3. So there's a Docker file there. All you have to do is you have to copy some files into the right directory in order to run a web server. There's like this list of instructions that you can follow and to guide you. But yeah, I'll just give you guys 15 to 20 minutes to work on that and then I'll I'll go over it. I'm just gonna finish this last one. Okay, if you did task 1 and task 2, I think that's still pretty good. Uh, I'm not trying to like sugarcoat it. I know task 3 is it's a bit of a stretcher, but I'll still go over it real quick, or I try to. Okay. So this one works with Docker files. If you remember from the Tuesday, Dockerfile is a way to create custom images compared to what we did earlier in task 1 is just pulling it, like downloading it from AWS or Amazon. This one we could just add like different files and all that stuff. So, as stated here, uh, a Docker file was started and it's located in the task 3 directory. So let me go in there real quick while I'm already there. And ls, and then I will edit the file. Oh, no. Right, so if you notice here, did add some comments to it. So this first line here downloads the Apache 2 image, which Apache 2 is the um, web server service. And then here's kind of like a hint of what you can do in the Docker file. But so if I let me end this real quick. I think Bronco Esports is coming in. I don't know. Actually, if I go into task 3, there's some files here. There's a HTML file. Let me open that real quick. Right, so that's like an actual HTML file being run like a web page. Right, it moves around. Right, but we want to add that to our container now. So first, I think the first step to do is actually just search up the image itself. So HTTPD. And then we see how you can use it, use the image, and then it's especially this part. Oh my God, it's so sensitive. All right, right here. So what this does is it copies from the host VM, and then it sends it to this special directory in the container. This is where all your HTML assets and files should be stored for it to be displayed as a website. So if I'm gonna replicate that, it would be copy, and then I could just put the file names because they're in the same directory. So index.html, and then I'll just put in the same, right? And then I'll do the same thing as for the other file. JPEG. And then, so on the instructions it says to add a user, but I'm just gonna skip that part because it's kind of out of scope in terms of this workshop. So I'm just gonna leave it. So save. Right, so we edit the Docker file. Right, it has these sets of instructions. So download the Apache 2 image, create this random file, and then copy those HTML website files into the web server directory. Then now we want to turn this into an actual usable image. So I'll do Docker build, and that will just read all the instructions in the Docker file. And then if you notice right here, it says the image should be tagged as portable, then semicolon lattice. So I'll just let me just type it out. Then I'll just put in the directory where the Docker file is located in. So I'll just do this. And what that does is just looks for the Docker file inside that inside that directory. So if I press enter, it'll run all the instructions that I told it to run. If you see right here, like the touch command, the copy command, all that stuff. And if I do Docker images, right, we see what I just created right here. And after that, it's just running the actual container or running the image. So I think you just copy this, or you don't have to, but so let me specify the name of the image. So that's portable, and then latest. And then it says the container should be named that. Um, I'll just call it ship, but you don't have to. So what this does, it opens a port on your virtual machine. So 8080, and then that maps it to the container, which is 80, which most web servers run on. So if I run it, and then now if I do Docker PS, you can see that it's running right now, and it's opened on port 8080. So if I go there right now, and hopefully it works, right? Woo. Huh? I don't know. ChatGPT wrote that for me. But yeah, so if I remove it, it doesn't work anymore. So yeah. All right, I went over a few minutes, but yeah, hopefully you learned something about Docker. And yeah, thank you. Make sure you guys sign in.